What's poppin', gang? Welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Welcome to the YouTube channel ComicPop Returns, a channel where we dedicate our time talking about the conversation of comic books and the accompanying industries. Today we're going to be talking about comic books that came out last week. We're going to recap and review them and tell you what we thought about them, and then recommend comic books that are coming out this week that we think that you should check out. We're also going to be talking about some kind of topic that is pulled straight from the headlines regarding the comic book industry, which is to say no headlines, because there aren't a lot of headlines when it comes to the comic book industry at large, but that's going to change because of all the changes that we're affecting on the industry itself. By the way, we're also sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the show. It'll be part of the show forever. And, and that'll help to keep all the riffraff out. Speaking of riffraff, we did get this package from our friends over at Valiant. I have been rather critical of them as of late, and they still were kind enough to send us this print, which I do want to showcase because it is good. And it was part of a previous regime that is no longer with them. Not the Dinesh regime, but rather an interim period, when there were a lot of new ideas and really exciting opportunities being put forth by some people who are really excited by the universe. And I think if you haven't already checked out the Exo Manowar book, that came out, I think, at least this past week, if not a week prior. But I think it came out last week. But Liam Sharp and Michael Conrad, Becky Cloonan working together. Is Becky Cloonan Michael Conrad?
Yeah.
Working together to make an Exo Manowar series. It's like, that's top tier talent. Like, if they can't do it, then I guess they could just go back to making Exo Manowar Iron Man crossover video games for the PlayStation. But as it stands, this pretty choice Exo Manowar print,
Wow,
numbered and everything, that
That's
also
great.
came with a copy of the book, is here. I'm going to cover up Tiffany with it.
that's fine. I'll hold it.
And it's just dope looking. It's just like, oh man, if you had to pick out of like a short list of people to draw Exo Manowar, be like Joe Quesada, I think Liam Sharp right at the top. And if you haven't already read this issue, it looks like this. So it's pretty choice. No other reason than just because they sent it to us and we thought it was cool, and I thought I'd share it. Not unlike the HUD skateboard that we received.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh,
that skateboard.
they
I can't wait for us to hang that up.
I know, it's great. And we'll hang up this as well because it's really cool. And very nicely printed. And,
I don't think I've ever seen Liam Sharp's signature.
Yes, you have.
I have, but I don't know. I don't remember it looking like that.
Yeah. Could be a new
Okay, sorry.
way to
I don't
do
think
it.
I've ever seen this iteration of Liam Sharp's signature. I should say it like that.
Because you recently got a signature by
did.
Liam Sharp. So I
did.
figured you would probably
I know.
have seen it
In my
most recently.
brain, I said the right words, and then I did not.
Yeah. Here. We'll put this over there.
Okay. One more time. Oh, I guess I could have held it here too.
Neat.
But then you couldn't see it. Ooh.
Yeah. Pretty stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty wizard. Hey, and speaking of wizard, it's been a while. We don't really talk about Star Wars, but Tiffany and I finally watched Andor.
We did.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it goes for me at this point, and I'll ask for your ranking now. Empire, A New Hope, Jedi, Andor, Mandalorian.
Yes.
And then the rest. Literally the rest.
No, I'm there with you on that.
All right. There you have it.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go back and rewatch Rogue One, which I thought, is pretty cool.
Someone asked if it was my signature was on Batman Reptile. Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. 100%.
It was indeed.
I got both of them on that one.
That's right. Yeah, you got Ennis and Liam Sharp. They were both there at the same day.
Yep.
Not together promoting
No.
Batman Reptile.
And I didn't know Sharp was there.
No.
Ennis told me.
Man, I got to tell you, the Comic-Cons, they got to get together and really tell you who's going to be there.
He was like, you should go.
You should get Liam to sign it. Has Liam seen this?
I'm like, I didn't know he was here. He's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah. And then I had to just wander around and I stood on the wrong line.
Yeah, you stood on the line.
I
You
stood
spent
on
more time in the wrong line than on the Liam Sharp line.
Liam Sharp had 0 line, and I didn't know that. And they just told me to wait in this line.
Yeah.
Because it was a con volunteer. Listen, volunteers get as much training as they get. I don't blame anyone. I should have inquired further.
Yep.
But I just stood on the line, and then I got to the front, and they're like, they felt bad.
Yeah.
I was like, don't feel bad. I'm the idiot.
Right.
It's me. Hi. I'm the problem.
So, yeah, let's talk about some books, and then we'll get into a topic, I guess, unless you want to, you got something that's itching.
I got nothing itching. I can't wait to find out what this topic is.
Yeah, me too. So,
oh, no. Okay, I see how we're doing this.
Yeah. We just got packed. There were a couple of cons that happened this weekend. Apparently, WonderCon happened. There was a Richmond Con that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And PAX East, but that's not
PAX
video
East, which
game.
isn't
Oh, that's
really-
not comic book related.
Yeah, folks don't really care. But
I do.
I know. That's nice.
I care.
Thanks, Luke. Well, we read World's Finest. Well, I read World's
like,
Finest number 13 from Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This is a new arc, new story, centered on Metamorpho. I think if you've checked out my previous conversation with Mark Waid, this series and his influence on the DC universe, you know he's excited about Metamorpho. He's excited to use World's Finest as an opportunity to use Batman and Superman to kind of highlight a couple of unexplored characters that are meaningful to him. I'll be honest, I know so little about Rex Mason and his metamorphic powers, and he's visually uninteresting to me, power-wise, origin-wise, just not in any way appealing to me. But this issue actually does a great job of introducing you to essentially the world, who this character is, what are his motivations, how did he get his powers, how do they work, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, cool. That helps contextualize things for me, I guess. I'm still not going to go out and buy all the new Metamorpho books that are out there, of course, of which there are 0, but still pretty good. So,
all right.
But this story is fun. It's a compelling idea.
This is a character you're not
couldn't care less about.
Does the book make you want to keep reading though?
Oh, this series, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
not Metamorpho,
but that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. I think that's a sign of quality or like strong writing. If someone is able to make you go like, all right, maybe this isn't my favorite character, but I'm not going to give up on this book.
Exactly.
I enjoy all the interactions.
Absolutely. No, actually, there's a lot more Jimmy Olsen interaction than there is Metamorpho interaction, although Batman and Metamorpho have a fun interaction that I really enjoyed. I like the series. Yeah, someone mentioned the cover. I'm not a big fan myself. I think it's a throwback. It's supposed to be like an homage cover. And, the art's fantastic. Dan Mora knows what he's doing at this point. And gives you classic looks that are done with a modern sensibility. But again, it's not like he redesigns Metamorpho in any way. It's just what Metamorpho looks like.
Yeah, that is.
But some fantastic body horror stuff that obviously he made his bones on doing Once in Future, a series that you should remember if you haven't already watched this show.
You should check that out.
You should definitely read Once in Future. It's done.
It's so worth it.
Kieran Gillen.
Here's what's funny, because it is Kieran Gillen, and I think a lot of people think like, oh, Kieran Gillen, like that's maybe not a style I'm looking for. This is a little different. Like you are going to get a lot of like Arthurian lore in there, but it's a lot more action oriented.
That's true.
Very action oriented series.
Yeah. No, it means Dan Mora.
Yeah.
Like it's going to look good.
Oh, it looks so good.
And it does indeed. So check out that book. It's really good. Mark Waid gets the characters, the interactions. They're fun. And it's just, it is at the end of the day, a Superman Batman book through and through.
Okay.
Josh Wallaba says, driving solo to NYC to Orlando. Thanks for the company. Well, no problem, Josh. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Ray Farr, ComicPop, woo. I got the Rona again. Oh, man. Well, I hope it's uneventful and quick. So now I have to sit at home and watch ComicPop and read comics all week. It ain't so bad. That's true. It's true. Take care of yourself, my friend.
Absolutely.
Dr. Bright. Hello, Sal and Tiffany. Hello. How was your weekend? Good.
It was good.
Do you guys think that retcons in comics bring more harm than good to the industry? Nah, because it's not about the tool. It's like,
I think it depends.
People get stabbed all the time. Doesn't mean we should we should outlaw knives. Like the tools that we use can be used for good or ill. Retcons is one of those tools in the arsenal that is comic books.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I have a similar sentiment. I just didn't have such a fine point on it.
Oh, speaking of knives, Anthony Bergamini experiencing major Anaheim WonderCon FOMO right now. Same, man. Last time I went to WonderCon was when they debuted Rebirth. It's hard to top. I saw a lot of similar-minded people were at WonderCon, but I wasn't going to go and missed out. I just never was going to go.
Right.
So.
Right.
I do have a little bit of FOMO, but not really. Although I would like for there to be more big East Coast cons rather than just New York Comic Con.
I feel like I can't have FOMO because I've never been to WonderCon.
Well, it's exactly the same as every other con you've ever been to, but in Anaheim. So you could also go to Disneyland if you wanted to.
Oh.
Which is what I did when I went to WonderCon that one time.
Okay.
And it was awesome. And finally, Beeper Leaper. Hi, Sal and Tiffany. Hope all's well. Sal, a few weeks ago, you said you dropped Ryan North's FF book. Can you elaborate on why? Yeah, I dropped it like months ago. I just didn't find it interesting. It just didn't grab me. I was not interested.
You didn't connect with it.
I did not in any way connect with that book.
That's fair.
It was fine.
You're allowed.
In no way was I interested. What do you got, Tiffany?
Good question. And the thing that I have to talk about with you guys is
Gargoyles.
Oh yeah, let's do Gargoyles. Wow, good call. All right, because no one cares except for me.
Exactly.
I know that
there's a couple of
there's a few folks.
Is there a term?
No.
Like, are they,
I even if there is, I'm just gonna say no.
Like stone, like
did you see that there's a Scar
there's a Scar book. I saw people freaking out about the Scar book. People saying like it represented their their childhoods, that it was like the second coming. I was like, what?
They're also making a Maleficent book. I guess they're going for it.
I mean, if I were Dynamite and I had the Disney license, I'd be like, oh my God.
Just make them all, right?
Seriously, no, that's a smart move on Dynamite's part to like really lean into fan favorite characters from the Disney library that maybe haven't had a chance to hear their stories be told.
All right. So this is Gargoyles #4, written by Greg Weisman with art by George Kambadias. I gotta tell you, like, this art style is cool. It's very different. It's not quite like the show. It does have like a fun sort of fluid animated look to it.
Yes.
And I think it fits. Like, nothing's out of place, but I'm like, oh man, like stick to this book, but would love to see this artist on other things as well.
I'm sure you will.
Oh no, I have no doubt, but I'm just saying, I'm like, this is awesome.
That name sounds very familiar.
Sure. I have like such a hard time connecting names to things. I don't know why. That's just a brain thing I got going on there. This series continues to be excellent. We're only on issue 4, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, haha, we're like 12 issues in and it's amazing. No, I'm like, it's 4 issues in and it's just been great. Like they're clearly writing this with the like overarching plot in mind.
Yes.
There's this thing with a villain from the show originally, the Dracon family. They're a mob family, mafia family. That's been peppered into each issue so far, even though we're like dealing with other things that's going on in the background. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, cool. So a lot of these issues are written kind of like episodes. Gargoyles often had multi-part episodes. And so that's kind of what this strikes me as. But there's also this other thing happening consistently, which was very familiar with in the show. So it honestly does work for the comic book format. This book, or this issue in particular, for me really kind of started pulling together some of the questions I had for like the current status of the team.
Yeah.
You got like, obviously Goliath is like the one everyone probably recognizes, right?
Yeah.
But then there's the other 3, right?
Yeah, who haven't gotten really like a lot of primary reveals done on the cover, by the way.
No. I mean, like, you got him. You're gonna put him on there, right?
Yeah, but Brooklyn looks cool. Hudson would be great.
Well, Hudson's in this, but he's not one of the 3 I was thinking. I was thinking of the 3 like
Bronx,
younger.
Brooklyn, and Lexington. Yeah.
Yes. No, not Bronx.
No,
it's Lexington, Brooklyn,
Broadway,
and Broadway.
Yeah.
Bronx is the dog.
Bronx would look awesome. He's great.
He is awesome. But we get into like, hey, they're growing up, and like 2 of them have significant others, and one of them has a kid from some time travel plot, which I need to catch up
from the show.
No, from I think the other comics.
Oh yes, that's right. Because Wiseman like famously wrote.
There's like 2 other
that Lost series.
There's like 2 other series you could pick up.
I think IDW is reprinting, or no, Dynamite was reprinting. I know I said IDW, but Dynamite is reprinting that Marvel book.
Oh,
remember that Marvel Gargoyles book that we saw the cover of? We were like, what?
Maybe. But we're gonna jump into that, and I appreciate that, because this is a common thing that happens with like friends / like brothers or like family members. As you get older, things start taking or getting in the way.
Yeah, life changes.
And what happens, right? So like one of them doesn't really have anybody. So what's gonna happen to them? They're resentful. They're angry about things. Goliath. It's Lexington. Yeah,
it always is.
Goliath,
the Donatello of
Goliath definitely notices that and like takes the like trying to be like more of a dad, and like is like, hey, wants to like step in, but everybody's gone. So he and Hudson go on patrol and they have like a talk, and I'm like, this is so the show. This is what it is. At the end of the day, it's so the show. It is a lot of heart, and if you're a fan at all, and you like we're like, can I possibly enjoy this? Yes, that's it. Yes, you could.
Yes.
And I encourage you to watch the show and then read the series.
Yes, watch the first.
It's a good show.
Yeah, the first show, skip Goliath Chronicles, and then
it's a show that like when you were a kid, you were like, wow, this show treats me like an adult.
Yeah,
and that meant a lot.
Right.
But even as an adult, when I went back and read it, I was like, this holds up. For me, it held up. For me, it held up.
Well,
I don't
that's
know if
great.
it holds up for other people. It still held up. Maybe it's those nostalgia glasses. I don't know.
Well, I read She-Hulk number 11 from Rainbow Rowell and Andres Genolet, and this is, continuing I'm reading this book, like, which I'm surprised people are still reading it. Not to be disparaging. I don't want to suggest that like this book doesn't deserve the readers it has. It's just, but the show came out and people have talked about it and now it's over. Why do we still need a book? I'm not saying that is true. I'm just saying that's clearly the mentality of the origins of this book was like, we need a book on the shelves while the show is out.
Right.
By the way, like, good. I'm glad there's some kind of synergy going on there. This is very much a romance book. This is a book about like being a
single
female lawyer. That is exactly what this is. Although it is not unwatchable or unreadable like Ally McBeal, the joke from which this was sprung.
Yeah, because that's a timely reference.
It is. Well, it's not even like a single female lawyer is a Futurama joke about Ally McBeal. But yeah, Ally McBeal was a horrible show with a uncharismatic lead. But She-Hulk, however, is a fun romp. But it is about being like a woman and being single, or at least being in a relationship now with Jack of Hearts, who no one knows is still alive except like 2 other people. So you can still kill him if you want to.
It's kind of hard to hide someone like that.
Yeah, you can if you live in Manhattan and you stick him in an apartment somewhere.
I guess that's true.
But it's fine. It's not even close to the Dan Slott series or the John Byrne series. Just a very different beast than those other series. This is just a completely different run, although it does hit similar notes about like relationships and action and fun, and there's not a lot of like
fun.
No, there's not a lot of third or fourth wall breaking. Like, it's not like that, which I actually appreciate. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed by how few references, if any, there are in this.
Okay.
It just tries to be something else. It's just like, here is a romance book, and it's interesting. It posits interesting theories that I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that. Like, Jack of Hearts and she had he saves her, or she saves him. They have a relationship, or a physical relationship that blossoms into a romantic relationship, but then he's his powers are re-triggered. He's got to wear his silly Jack of Hearts suit to contain his whatever. So now he can't like eat, or if he does, it's like he doesn't need to. So it's not the same. It doesn't have the same feeling. And so, it's like, I can watch you eat, I guess, like they're losing common interests, and he is not satisfying her in the way that they initially began their relationship. Like, he's not able to, or capable of intercourse. And not that that's an issue necessarily. Well, it is an issue in their relationship because it was mostly physical. And so like, that's an element of this book. If that doesn't appeal, if you're like, I don't read comic books for that, then don't, because that is what this book is.
Okay.
Like, there is some fighting because Jen joins a fight club where like the Thing and Titania and she like punch each other because
I remember them setting that up in like one of the earlier issues.
Yeah, and it was like, that's a cute idea. Like, okay, all right. I don't really need. I do not care about that in one way or the other. But if it needs to be in here, She-Hulk's a great place for it. And fine, knock yourself out, literally. But the but so they're introducing like another hiccup into their relationship, which is like, she's meeting this new dude, and oh no, like, is there going to be like infidelity, or is infidelity even on the table? Like, is it infidelity if they don't have a label on their relationship? Like, so there's a lot of that kind of thinking going on, but also it's not like branded. It's not like, oh, this is the relationship about but gender norms and relationship values. Like, it's just in the book.
It does sound a little more slice of life.
Absolutely. No, it is not a superhero comic book.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you find that interesting, if you're just like, I just want a very quiet, subdued, occasional superhero book that is mostly just watching, like, will Jen get the relationship that she thinks she deserves? Gee, I hope so. I also imagine that the book will get canceled very quickly. So, pick it up while you can. But
it's I mean, like, even so, if it gets to
12,
yeah, I mean, like, that's 2 volumes, right?
that's true.
So that's nice.
Yeah, those are two.
There's
Those are
some
two
stuff
Marvel
you can go
volumes.
and grab.
That's right. That's right. It's
Some stuff you can go and grab. There's so
yeah, you can go grab that book and read
That's
it.
not how I meant that.
But it's, you know,
But that is how I said it.
it's true. It's true. What else we got, Tiffany? Hey,
I'm not going to talk too in depthly about this because this would be the end of Swamp Thing Green Hell, written by Jeff Lemire with art by Doug Mankey. There it is, right?
It exists.
It exists. I have it in my hands. Yeah, this
There's only 3 issues.
There's only 3 issues.
Heavily delayed after the first issue. Now it's back.
Yeah, understandably so. But you know, the last 2 issues came out.
Yep.
Without any sort of
Hiccup.
problem
Nope.
or any sort of hiccup at all, and very consistent. You know, it's not like, oh my gosh, for some reason there was a horrible art shift in between or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, no,
yeah,
you're gonna get this in trade and it's gonna flow perfectly. I was really interested to see how they were gonna wrap this up.
Yes,
because where I left it off in issue 2, I was like, you got this. You got a lot going on here for issue 3, but they did manage to pull it all together.
Oh, great.
You do get the understanding of why it's called Green Hell. It's done so on a number of like levels.
Okay.
There is a literal level to it, though. You'll get it if you read the issue. Constantine does play a significant role in this.
Cool.
And it's not. It is definitely a Swamp Thing book, but like the co-character in this is definitely Constantine, which is totally fair because that's where he comes from.
Yeah. You know, well, they keep canceling his book, so you know, might as well put him where you can find him. You know?
Right. But this does wrap up with, you know, I wouldn't worry about it like, oh, there won't be another. There could be. They could do more if they wanted to, or they could you could be very happy with this fun sort of like, what if there was a last story for Swamp Thing?
Oh,
and that's kind of what this is, like a last story for a couple of pages in the DC universe, and you know, a little bit of humanity as well.
Love it.
Like, you know, it's a fun little thought experiment. Since it is a Black Label book, I'm going to assume that they're going to be like, hey, you know, that's neat, but it's in the future. Who cares?
Right.
You know, it's, you know, if it sells like wild and, you know, everyone talks about it all the time, they'll Dark Knight Returns it and be like, yeah, you know, whatever. That might be the future. Who knows?
Okay. All right. But as it stands, as an Elseworlds book.
Yeah, very much so. It's just like, hey, let's talk, tell a dark, gritty story in the future of DC. Where we get to deal with, you know, the end of the world or like the end of humanity. You kind of get to have a bit of like a zombie thing going on, even though there's no zombies, but you get that sensation of, you know, an impending doom coming. You get Swamp Thing in this, who wants nothing to do with it. And you get Constantine, who is just literally written like Lemire's like, I'm gonna lean hard into him being a bastard.
Oh, good.
Throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
how do you like Lemire's Constantine? I feel like we haven't seen that really.
I feel I don't hate it at all. I think he's definitely like, you know what, like I'm gonna stick to what has come before.
Okay.
I'm not going, like, I've got 3 issues here. He's not the main star of the book. I'm not going to try to reinvent him.
Yes.
So I feel like he's just like paying homage to other
what he
creators.
knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
And I think that that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I know I think he has some connection to Animal Man.
Yeah.
And so
all the Vertigo characters, more or less.
Well, yeah, but no, I mean Jeff Lemire.
Oh, yes. Well, Jeff Lemire wrote like the New 52 Animal Man series.
Yeah. So there is Animal Man presence in this.
Okay.
Kind of. You'll see and you get it. But it definitely make sense if you know that he had, you know, a connection to it, why that would be here. I mean, obviously it makes sense in terms of like the green, the red, and all of that.
Yeah.
But like for Lemire to be like, hey, let's also throw that in there too. It's
Looks
not
like he also wrote the Constantine miniseries for the New 52 as well.
There you go.
So
it doesn't feel like that.
Okay.
I know a lot of folks didn't care for that because I think he wasn't in. No, that was Rebirth.
Yeah.
Which one where he wasn't in England? Anyway.
I think that was Rebirth.
But he's gritty, he's old in this, and it's just, you know, just imagine him being written by a Brit. It's fine.
Good.
In terms of like where this stands, is like
it sounds like you're disappointed by the end.
No, I think what it is that I wish, and this is no one's fault. Life happens, but I wish we'd been able to read it all together. And now I can.
Yeah, and everyone else will, and never
and I could
have
have
any
gone
problem
back and
with it.
read the first one.
That's true.
It felt so fast, and I'm like, did we waste time in the first issue?
Mm.
But it's also, I'm like struggling with it too, because I'm like, it did feel like it was fairly tight though, and all of my questions were answered. So
Mhm.
like, there's really nothing to be upset about. I think I read this a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just thinking about it, like in terms of what this says about Swamp Thing, what this, like, is he just a tool in this? Is he,
Right.
and not, I mean, like, like a jerk. I mean, like, is he just being utilized
Yeah.
to progress the plot, or is he really the main focus of it? Like, do we get some depth on him? Yeah, to some degree. I do think we get a little more about Constantine though. So
okay.
I do think it's worth a read. The art is it's gritty and it's grim looking. Mankey's style fits with the tone of this book, but it may not be everyone's cup of tea.
Fair.
So I'd say go find it, go grab it if you're a Swamp Thing fan.
Undoubtedly there will be more copies on your at your local comic book store.
Yeah.
For issue 1, because they had to reprint it, and 2 and 3 I saw plenty of copies.
Yeah. I think I'm just struggling with if it felt rushed at the end. And I don't think
like maybe they should have had another 4th issue or something.
No, or like maybe some like page panel, or like story could have been shifted slightly.
More pages.
Like maybe one could have gotten to the point a little faster, but like one, if it felt like we were wanting to leave that last page reveal of like, okay, we are going to get to Swamp Thing at some point, because the real deal with him at all in that first issue, I don't think. I don't, if I remember correctly. So I felt like once we had him in the book, okay, well, I want to do all these things though.
Right.
And I'm like, but listen, you got 3 issues, 3 oversized issues. It's still a fun story. So
good. Okay. That's a shame. Mom says, first super chat, I had the privilege of meeting you guys at the past Sapcon.
Oh, thank you.
And it was surreal. I've been watching since 2017, and I am now a senior in high school.
Oh,
well, congratulations.
Gosh, awesome.
Have a fantastic rest of your year, man.
And
thank you very much for saying hi.
Thank you for coming to Zapcon.
Right? You and 2 other people were there. It was great to meet both of you.
Very nice. No, there
were at least like 4 or 5.
There were very, very nice people who showed up.
It's
thank
true.
you for that.
Danby900, Tom King saying at WonderCon that Tim Drake is boring hurts. It reminds me of Mitch Gerrard's saying Tim was boring before the change in sexual orientation on Twitter, and that Damian is his favorite Robin. I mean, yeah, I guess that would remind someone of the exact same sentiment being being expressed by the same person. I mean, I like Joe Quesada's art, but I disagree with him on a lot of fundamental levels. Tom King wrote Heroes in Crisis. He's not gonna be right all the time.
There's 100 floors of right.
That's right. They're not all winners. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, you go, all right, well, I mean, what does Tom King get out of Tim Drake? He doesn't tell stories about Tim Drake. He doesn't tell stories about Robin. He doesn't tell stories about Jason Todd. He tells stories about Batman. If he wants to tell a story about Batman, clearly, when you read his work, you see that he like hides Batman in all of them, and his Batman is alone and suicidal and miserable. Like, he doesn't know what to do with Tim.
Yeah,
Tim represents a Batman who needs a Robin, which is a Batman that I don't think that Tom has any interest in writing. So I get it. I don't agree with him. Thankfully, he's not an editor at DC. He does work at DC Studios, and I heard that apparently James Gunn's directing the Superman movie.
I heard that too.
Somewhere, but like, that's neither here nor there.
No.
Just occurred to me for some reason. But the point is, you might be concerned that he might share some of that sentiment and bleed it into. But like, Damian's the Robin of that universe, or at least that's the plan. Will Tim be in the movies? At the end of the day, for me, I couldn't care less.
It's funny because
I don't want Tim in the movies.
I do understand folk being pretty passionate about this, because if you think about comic book readership versus comic book movie viewership, it's very different numbers. So for a lot of people, they know only the movies.
Yes.
And so if Damian's it, then Damian
will be it. Yeah, and the comics will fold to the pressure of the larger audience.
Yeah, and so like, I do understand people being like, it doesn't take away from what you have though, but I do understand why people might be like, but those characters may never get their time then.
Yeah.
Or if they do, it'll be a very different version of them.
Tim had a solo series when they made Batman Forever, and they introduced Dick Grayson as Robin.
Yeah.
Like, there were plenty of other times when they had like external pressure to make the comics like the movies, and they didn't.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Trash Cam, love, glad to see you guys live. Thanks a lot for Trash
Thank you
Cam.
so much.
And Danville 100 returns. The ending One Bad Day Ra's al Ghul made me think of the end of Gone Baby Gone. I thought it was great. It reminded me of the Ra's al Ghul DLC from Arkham Knight with the decision that was made. Cool.
I don't remember if I did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might have been like, I'm done
Kind
with
of
this.
wrapped up after all that car bullshit. Yeah, fair enough. We'll talk about that book in a little bit, but thank you for your opinion. And then Brian Rowland says, did Tiff read the Neighbors new Boom comic that seems to be like her kind of book?
I did not. It was one of those things that so there are occasionally when we're going through things, I'm like, oh, I'm going to look at that, but I don't recommend it because I don't know enough about it to you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember opening that tab and then that was the end of that. We were in a store and I didn't see it. That store had so many books though.
Yeah.
that I was just like, I didn't even know where to look. Sometimes, like, I don't know. It's just overwhelming.
Was it the store we were just at?
Yes.
Hey, we were at a comic book store just recently. We were in Rhode Island for the weekend, and we went to what was the store?
The Time Capsule.
The Time Capsule in
Cranston,
Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple of things. Let's share what they were. This is why I wanted a table. You wouldn't have to get up.
What table?
I don't know. Any table. A chair would be great.
There's no chair. There's no table. What am I supposed to do?
So we bought these things, and I thought, comic book fans like to see hauls. So here's the stuff we bought, and then I had to shove into a
you
bag.
had to carry those. They were quite heavy.
We finally got the first volume of War Games from Batman. We have Acts 2 and 3.
Batman.
We don't have.
This is just for me.
Yeah, whatever. That's cool.
There you go.
There's Books of Magics, prestige bound copy.
Yeah, I think
it's 4.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I'll just keep moving along here.
Captain America Truth.
Oops, sorry.
I looked it up. It turns out I didn't have this.
Oh, really?
I was really
thought
disappointed
you did.
in myself. No, I think I have it in singles, but I don't have it in hardcover.
I was gonna say the cover looks familiar.
Yeah, I got this great collection of Bendis and Maleev's Daredevil. I think I have it or some aspect of it, but I don't have a lot of it, so I grabbed this one. It's a first volume, so I was like, hey. This is just something that appealed to me. I'm like, you know what? We randomly do Green Lanterns, and for whatever reason, they don't tank like Star Wars books. So let's do this. So one day we'll cover the Road Back.
Oh, that's mine.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of these are other random things.
Yep. Which is pretty fun.
Oh, and then I bought these for myself because I didn't make Sal buy them for me because I have an ongoing collection of as many Sandman copies as I can. So I got a Game of You in hardcover, as well as, which one is this? Fables and Reflections in hardcover.
Yeah.
Because each of the imprints of Sandman always have something a little different in them.
Yep. There's muck with it in some way.
They mess around with it, but this is the original coloring of the book. So I was like, kind of.
Which is oftentimes superior.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of old versions have like some kind of forward, and I'd love to see like who it was, because it really represents like whoever is writing its like mindset.
Samuel R. Delaney for this one.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. But
no.
I will look forward to it.
But that'll be fun to see.
Yeah.
Girk Pectus says, everyone was at PAX or WonderCon. I went to GDC as a game dev. I felt like an outsider. Lol. Do you think One Bad Day would work with other heroes rogues? Yes, but the title wouldn't work, so it'd be kind of like wasted on them. Silas Loudon, first time getting here live. You guys are great. Keep being awesome. Thanks, Silas. Thanks for being here, man, and thank you for your support. And Matt Mix. Hey guys, just wondering what the chances of seeing another episode of Harbor Patrol, or is it dead in the water? Pun intended. Wink. Perfect pun for that kind of content. I do appreciate it, man. I would love to bring back Harbor Patrol. It's just it really is just a question of like of timing and availability for DMs and stuff. Like
there's a whole bag of stuff here that I bought
just for Harbor Patrol, maybe
just in case.
Just in case,
because there I hadn't.
We had planned. I think the plan was to switch it to D&D 5th edition, and then after the chicanery that Wizards of the Coast pulled, we were like,
that's not gonna
maybe
work.
not. And now that they've retracted it, it's like maybe we could. But I also know that they've shown their hand. They will inevitably make those changes because they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, no one who is shamed on Twitter into doing something or not doing something actually wanted to do that thing or didn't want to do that thing. So, just wait for the other hand. What they'll do is they'll do it in the middle of the night on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like you won't know when while you sleep, the world will change. And Nick Prado says, 5 smackaroonies to call my favorite internet personality handsome. Count me in. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's jump into some more books.
Yes.
I read Punisher number 10. Punisher finally came back. Took forever. Jason Aaron, Paul Azaceta, and Jesus
I feel like
Saiz.
it wasn't that long. I feel like you just talked about the. Oh, maybe that's because you did the.
It's because we did a back issues on it. I don't know what the hell the delay was. I think it's because
life gets in the way sometimes.
I think it's because Jason Aaron didn't know what to do. I think Jason Aaron needed a break to figure out how to like retool this. This is seeing Maria becoming like or rather adjusting to being the leader or the wife of the ruler of the hand, and how that affects their relationship. Of course, she's like, I'm in, but only until you finish the war. I want you to finish the war. And I'm like, I thought you were over with that. I thought we were done with that. Why are we doing that now? Like, this is the first moment where I'm like, what? You know, especially because of the last page reveal of issue 9, where like Maria's in and she's like, I am in. I find that hot. Yeah, let's do this. And I'm like, cool. And then she's like, no, not in. I'm sad. And I'm like, oh. And it's really cool to see Frank, like, you know, unleashed on the world. And there's a lot of socio commentary that Aaron weaves into it. A lot of reactionary commentary going on in there, you know, from bootleg Punisher logo sales to oligarchs taking like, you know, masturbatory trips into space. You know, he uses a lot of opportunities to like take shots at people who he thinks deserves it, which, you know, it's his prerogative. Yeah. I'm down. But otherwise, it's everything I enjoy about the series. The Marina stuff notwithstanding, I don't know. It's coming to a head. Clearly, we're getting like we're not getting an entire long-standing series with this. We're getting like maybe 12, 13 issues.
Okay,
but it's coming to a head. And the reveal of the last issue of like this little cadre of heroes fighting Frank, it's finally set up. So now we're going to see it. All right. In the next issue.
Okay.
So it's a good series. It's still good.
Oh, great. You just weren't as much of a fan of this issue.
Yeah. Preston Heron, isn't that GL book written by a kid diddler? That's a really inappropriate thing to ask, say, and refer to. So thanks for nothing. You can take that money back if you want. I'll make sure to refund it for you. But yeah, Gerard Jones is yes, as I recall, he's a jerk. He's an inappropriate. Yeah, I remember that was the thing. I didn't read I didn't know the book, like, you know, who wrote it. You know, I just picked it up.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of time in the store.
Yeah.
Sometimes find out the situation before deciding to put yourself out there, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because we were there with family. They were very kind enough to take us to the comic book store where they had a full day planned for us. We had no additional ride. They were our ride. And so we didn't have a whole lot of time in the store. So we were just going through the copious amounts of long boxes. By the way, if you are in that area and you get a chance, definitely stand by, because not only do they have an insane amount of trade, like long boxes, but they have a crazy amount of single issues as well as new books, vinyl, and a bunch of like freaking like video games over on the other side.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, if you feel like you need to put yourself out there like that, then I guess you did it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Gold star for the day. Moving on to some comics.
Yes. Brandon F says, handsome Sal, thank you very much. I don't know where this is coming from.
I like it.
Sent a little Batman Spawn love for your P.O. box. Oh, no. Well, thank you very much, Brandon. I look forward to checking that out. I haven't been there in a couple of days.
Before the mailbox, then the post office gets mad.
Yes, before I get anher angry letter from the post office. They don't give me letters. They just give me passive aggression.
They should give you letters. That's their whole thing.
Yeah, but then actually, if they mail, well, but I don't go to the post office all the time.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah. What do you got?
I'm going to talk about Sins of Sinister.
Oh.
So Sins of Sinister Part 7, which would be Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants number 2, which is written by Simon Spurrier. Let me make sure I'm correct about that. No, with Al Ewing.
Yep,
Sorry,
Al
wrong
Ewing.
one. Arrgh. My bad. Al Ewing with art by Andrea DeVito. Clearly we're seeing with this 100 years mark that we are kind of pulling the 3 titles together.
Yes.
You know, like the first were really just like
setting things
they were
up.
establishing what they were doing in their book. And I really wasn't sure if each of the books was just going to be their own thing.
Right.
That at the end kind of came together, maybe. But like, no, there are moments that are brought up in other titles that we fulfilled further information here. You could find out about it or not. I realized that like in that other book, it didn't really matter if you knew the answer. But now that I have this answer, I'm like, oh, that's neat.
Oh, okay.
Like they talk about the fact that Mystique is dead, and I'm like, wait,
what?
Wasn't that Destiny's whole thing? That was the other book.
Yes.
This is the book where they're like, we find out what happened.
Oh, cool, good.
And it's actually great.
Well, I mean, the whole series has been. So.
Yeah, it's been excellent. Each of these writers are incredible, and they're just doing such a great job. This is obviously the book that focuses on Storm. Storm got away. She was, because of her connection with Arakko, she was not part of the Resurrection Protocol anymore. She didn't want to be that. Neither did Magneto. Magneto is dead, right?
Yep.
So she was like, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to come back. So Sinister never got his claws into her.
Yes, that's right.
And she left.
And like started a whole like freedom fighting force.
Yeah. And they thought that like, they destroyed Arakko. They kind of hoped they had gotten her. Clearly they hadn't. And she's been fighting for the past 100 years. She's still alive somehow.
Yes.
Right. Still alive. She's got a big floaty chair. She's quite old at this point. She has several members from Arakko there fighting alongside of her, including, do you remember that pirate guy from the Wolverine book, the big guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like there. He's like part. He's
all right,
part
cool.
of the Force.
It looks like Nova's in there too.
Yeah, there is a Nova.
It looks like Sam.
No.
Oh, it's a lady.
There is a Nova there. But we get a little background because Destiny shows up. Because Destiny met with Storm. Because Storm was supposed to be going to get the Moiras. They were gonna steal the lab, and then that all, went upside down because it was, oh my gosh, it was Mystique. She was there. She was infiltrating. Oh no, right? It's like, all right. So you got like the Destiny like part of the plot. We got the Orbis Stellaris, the other Sinister.
Yeah.
And we have Storm. This is what this book is really talking about the bulk of.
Yeah.
We know that if you read the other books, we know that Mystique's dead. I'm like, so wait, what the heck's Destiny doing then? What does she care? She shows up, and we find out that, Destiny, as much as she loves Mystique, and Mystique clearly cared about her, inevitably, Mystique had enough. She's like, you are just keeping me here. Like this, I don't know if this is a relationship anymore, or like, you're just too afraid to let me go anywhere. Like that's not how I'm going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So she left and she joined Storm.
And
that's cool. During a mission, she died.
Right.
So Destiny's like, so I've got nothing going for me. So here's what we're going to do. We have to go to Orbis Stellaris and we got to get the Moiras and we're going to kill them so that we can reboot the universe.
Right. Yeah. Oh, now you care.
Now I care. Cool. The thing I wanted is gone. So we,
So great where you're back.
So they hatch a whole plot. At the beginning of this book, it's funny. They do Al Ewing decides that we're going to do like a title crawl,
like a Star Wars
info
crawl.
There's definitely this entire issue. There's so many little moments of Star Wars in it.
Okay.
I don't know why, and it works though for me.
Okay.
I think it's a little cheeky.
Yeah.
We're talking about a British writer, so I feel like I can use that word
naturally.
Right? Yeah. But they've got their ships are X-fighters.
Oh yeah, like X-wings. Yeah. Okay.
They're going to this big orb because Orbis Stellaris built this big thing. And actually, since we learned in the other issue that each of the Sinisters are working for, or one of the other series, but like they're working towards a Dominion, which is, like Phalanx. They're trying to get outside of time. Yeah. Right. They're working towards that. So he's got all these like planets, fake planets in there, and he's controlling them and like, whatever. So it's like this big thing, but it's like, it looks like a Death Star. Right. Yeah. Like it looks like a Death Star. And they got to find their way in. They do so, and once they get within the Death Sphere, they're like, okay, here we go. Like, what they do is they superpower Destiny so that she can tell them how they're gonna they're like, okay, we're locked in on like fate now. It's determined you guys are gonna win. You're good. Stellaris is like, oh great, we're fighting against fate at this point. So like, what am I gonna do here? He sends everyone, like everything. They managed to get past the boundaries, and that is when Storm enacts her actual plan and kills Destiny. Oh. So she has Cora, who's one of the Arakko mutants who we've seen from past actual current Krakoa series, kill her. And in such a way that it was like so fast that there was no pain. Okay. Because when she looks into the future and saw them win and get in, she's like, I see black, or like I see darkness. And so therefore I know that we must win and reset the universe. Yeah. And what it meant was, no, you die. Yeah. So Storm's like, whew, did that. And so she lets everyone else know, and they're like, well, but I mean, like, we're right here. We might as well kill the Moiras,
Yeah,
right?
right?
And she's like, the problem with that is, as much as we all want justice for Arakko and to reset, there are all these lives now. These people have persevered. There's all these people who are living on these planets now.
Whatever, Storm.
So Storm feels very uncomfortable doing that.
And let somebody else do it.
So she doesn't want to do it. So she's like, we need to take the Moiras, all these planets, and we got to go somewhere else. We're going to protect them.
Okay.
And like, we'll let the universe sort itself out.
No.
So that's what she's decided she's going to do. Korra powers her up, and she's old, and it's this amazing set of images in which she goes on and on about how she's an Omega level mutant, and that means that there are no limits.
Right.
And so she calls forth like a cosmic storm, and then opens like a wormhole or a black hole and like shifts them all someplace else. But in doing so, of course, dies.
Yes.
So we end that Storm is no longer there. I mean,
good. Now they can actually make the right decision.
She was super old.
Yeah, exactly. So she really exerted herself.
She was not going to make it to the 1,000-year mark.
Yes.
She's not Wolverine. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She was either going to be old age or this. So
yes,
sure.
Exactly. Fine.
But yes and no, because there's a few among her who treat her as a goddess, and like this is a religion, and that like we need to follow this, and like, without Storm we're lost. We need to follow her guidelines.
No thanks.
Well, they probably will.
Yeah.
Because the only people who are with her are the people who are with her.
Exactly.
And they're the ones who went. So no one knows where these people are. So no one knows where the Moiras are. Sinister doesn't know where the Moiras are.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm like, okay.
Plus, we got to wrap up. We have Sinister to have to contend with.
Yes, we've got 3 more issues basically.
Yeah.
Well, 4. We got 3 more of each of their series, and then the final issue.
Yeah.
I do like this is a little needlessly complicated. This issue in particular creates a needlessly complicated set of circumstances for the X-Men or for mutantdom right now. I think that's inherently X-Men. I think that is very them. I did also have that moment of like, well, why wouldn't you just do it? The way in which it's explained in this, I did not do as good a job, but you do understand. You get where Storm's coming from when you read it.
Exactly.
I'm like, all right. I still disagree.
No, I get it. I get her motivations, but like, yeah, nothing.
Yeah. She's like, she doesn't feel that she has the right to end lives that may have.
Yeah, that exist now.
Yeah.
That exist because of that decision.
Right.
So yeah, I get it.
So
I just disagree with her.
Yeah. So she just removes it from the playing field so that no one else can do anything until it's kind of figured out.
So well, plus we got to wrap it up. We got to we got to get to Sinister. We got to get to like all the other Sinisters and the Quiet Council and all that other stuff. So there's plenty more to go. There's still story.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. There's this is the last one, I think, in the 100 years. So the next one should be the 1,000-year mark. And I'm very interested to see what has happened in 1,000 years, who's left, how they may have survived or not survived.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's gonna be cool.
It's
how
cool.
many more is there left?
I think there's 4. Because I think there's an 11-part series.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because there's the beginning, the 3 of each, that's 9, and then the one at the end.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if we're on part 7, that means we've got 3 more plus the final culminating issue.
Really quick, I talked about, or I read Superman #2 from Josh Williamson and Jamal Campbell. Jamal Campbell was born to draw Superman, and I think Josh Williamson was born to write some Superman.
This is kind of creepy.
It is creepy. It's a creepy series. Well, okay, so it's a crazy series.
This is like giving me like Alien Queen vibes, but also that woman from Resident Evil. I didn't play that game.
No.
I did not play that one, but you know who I mean, the big tall one that everyone's like,
oh yeah, the one
Sit
that's
on
like
me, mommy.
Step on me. Yeah. Yeah, this is Marilyn Moonlight. She's introduced like towards the latter half of the book.
Okay.
And she just essentially shows up and goes, I'm a new character. See you later. The parasite has been changed, and as a result, like when he gets more power, he splits into like a ton of little parasites, and then those parasites split into little parasites until eventually like it's just overwhelming, and all of Metropolis, like the power's gone out, and Superman's getting like he's been drained by some of the parasites, and so he needs to recharge, but it's nighttime. He calls into the super family, or at least 2 of them, to help him. He's looking for Lois, and all the while it's essentially a vehicle for Jamal Campbell to draw some really dope like atmospherically cool, scary stuff. We also are introduced to like how Parasite is, or at least like the kind of behind the scenes, like who are pulling the strings for Parasite, how it relates to Lex Luthor, who of course is still under lock and key, who is like, I got to figure it out. Let me out, break me out of prison, and I will help you figure it out.
Okay.
And Superman's like, no, I'll figure this out myself.
Okay.
And while he's looking for Lois, we discover that the Parasite has split so much that he has become like so tiny you could breathe him in. So, and it's become like an infection. People become like aspects of Parasite, like like Lois and stuff. It's a great looking book, and the story is something I've never seen from Superman before, which is just like, oh, cool. It's like horror Superman. And then Marilyn Moonlight shows up, and she's like, hey. She also blasts Superman with moonlight, and it charges him. And it's like he's like, moonlight, and I'm like, yeah, moonlight is reflected sunlight. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like that's
I'm like,
why are you so surprised, Superman? But
he is the one named Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Moons don't make light.
Well,
they reflect it.
Here's the thing. Hang on. Can we go back to that really quickly? Because I gotta tell you, I think you just sold me to read this series.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it.
I didn't really have a lot of interest in it necessarily. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I gotta check this out.
Superman's a tough sell sometimes.
And yet I like him, but I typically like him in trade. Like when I'm like a definite trade reader on Superman.
Yes.
But this sounds amazing.
It's cool.
I think that Jamal Campbell's only like doing the pencils. I think he's doing all elements of the art, which is like incredible.
Yeah,
that he's doing a monthly book like that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the fact that this book comes out
like
is incredible.
But I can only imagine like how I haven't seen much art from it, but I can only imagine how amazing it must look.
Oh yeah, no, it looks
because
great.
Of the fact that he's not only doing his own pencils, he's doing his inks, he's doing his colors. Oh
yeah. You get like it is playing with the idea of what used to be called widescreen comics.
Wow, that's amazing looking. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, I know. That was just the opening crawl. Like
that's yes. Okay.
Like here, we haven't already sold you on it. I'll show you a page from the. This is what the book looks like. It's just page after page of this, and I don't want to overhype Jamal Campbell, but he does deserve it. But I also want to talk about how Williamson tells a cool story.
No, absolutely. I mean, like he's giving him the ability, to show these by telling his story. So
yeah, Marilyn Moonlight.
Okay,
I'm like, all right. I hope it works out. She rides a horse, like a moon horse or something.
Listen, why not?
Yeah, but yeah, Lois has been infected, and so is Superman. Oh no, it's cool. I'm excited to see where it goes.
This is a fun idea. All right, fine, cool. Josh.
Brent Jago. Hey guys, just wanted to say thanks for all the fun, laughs, and insights I get from Comic Pop every week. Well, thank you very much for being here, Brent, and thanks for appreciating us. Appreciate all of you all. Jason Aaron's Punisher is great, by the way. Hi from Tasmania, Australia. Well,
wow. That's awesome.
I guess if he were to want us to visit, he would say something like, come to Tasmania, come to Tasmania.
What are you going to do to the G'day? Because we keep
come say G'day.
We keep seeing those commercials with
for Australia, like tourism.
I'd love to know how the Australians feel about the mascot, because I think it's adorable.
I really like that.
I really like it.
Yeah, this plushy kangaroo.
It's cute.
She's just like, hey, what's going on? It's really a subdued Australian accent, by the way. Every Australian I've ever seen on TV is like, G'day. Oh, you know what I mean? It's most of my exposure though is Mr. Sunday or the Bards. So it's like, hello. Oh no, Molmans. but hers is really like it's dialed back. She's like, just come say good day, and I'm like, good day. No, it's good day. Sorry, Brent. Thank you very much for your support, man.
Yeah, no, we apologize for our horrible
impressions of your voice. Dante Cook, I know it's late, but Tom King writing Wonder Woman similarly to Supergirl is like the comic gods hearing my prayers and probably answered. Also, Raish is now my favorite Batman villain ever. Stay safe. Yeah, if he wasn't already, I mean, Raish deserves it. He's a fantastic villain. And Wonder Woman, yeah, I'm so on board. It's already pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the book. I told my comic book retailer, I was like, give me 800 because apparently Tom King's introducing a new villain in the Wonder Woman book. So pick up that.
Okay.
And give me 801 because it's the first issue or 1, depending on what they number it as.
Sure.
But yeah, pre-order the book. And yeah, I love Raish. We'll talk about Raish in a minute. Wakizashi's tea house. Well played, Tiffany. Classy response, especially live. On a positive note, the new Doom Patrol #1 is a lot of fun. Great art by Chris Burnham.
Is it out?
Is it out? I missed it. I hope not.
Did we miss it?
No, I don't think so. I think you may have just gotten a copy. Yep, it's not on the list.
Well, maybe it came out last week or the week before that.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Did I miss it?
Well, you did see it. You did get it.
No.
Didn't you get it?
Oh yeah, I did. I got to read it already.
I didn't get to read it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't last week either.
All right, I'll have to find out when it's coming out. Maybe it's next week. There it is.
It's next week. Oh, you got an early copy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I agree.
Cool.
No, Chris Burnham's art really blows this book out of the water. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's really worth seeing. Also, Batman's in it. Awesome. Vincent Brown, hey, Comic Poppers, can't stay long, unfortunately, but I had to recommend the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show. Episode 6 has Lawrence Fishburne as Beyonder, and that episode alone is worth watching. I've seen the scene. It's cute. He sings.
And by next week, we mean tomorrow. Sorry. We're like,
yeah.
Travel messes with me for some reason. And we didn't even change, like, time zones.
We didn't, no.
I just have zero concept of what day it is. I'm like, what is it? It's Monday because we're here.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
Anyway, but yeah, man, I'll check out more of it. It didn't look like it was it looked like it was for children. And I was like, right on. That's
okay,
fine.
So I'll watch it and then I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want to watch something that, like, I'm not gonna watch Paw Patrol and then be like, oh, it was really unbelievable.
I watched an entire episode of Bluey.
You did.
So
exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna think about that. Right. But I hear what you're saying. All right, Doctor Strange #1.
Yeah, Doctor Strange #1 came out by Jed MacKay with art by Pascal Ferry.
Yes.
This is launching #1. Doctor Strange is back. Jed MacKay had been writing Clea, so it's not like it's like, and here we go. It's like he's been working on this.
He killed Doctor Strange.
Then he put Clea in as the Sorceress Supreme or Sorcerer Supreme, whichever she would prefer.
Right.
And then he brought him back via the Harvestman, and then brought him back entirely. And here he is.
And here he's got his own book, and I think it's an ongoing.
He's got his own book. We're here. We're setting it up. Like, what's Doctor Strange up to? What's he doing? Of course, big questions. What will Jed MacKay remember?
Is this book, are you happy with it?
Yes.
That's like every reaction you have to a Jed MacKay book.
So
except for Moon Knight,
that's
which
not true.
I just love anyway.
I just love Moon Knight. Listen, of course I'm going to be more scrutinizing on a Doctor Strange book.
It's been a while since there's been a Doctor Strange series.
I think everyone should always
enjoyed.
take my opinion on Doctor Strange with a grain of salt, knowing
not unlike mine about Spider-Man.
Right, knowing that I have a personal preference.
That's
to
true.
It. So that doesn't mean you can't enjoy this, and I'm not saying it is bad. I'm not saying that at all. There will be something I'm going to mention later on. But I like that this issue is like, let's set up the status quo. What is going on?
That's a good idea.
Like, we really do need to do that because he just came back to life. What are we going to do with him? So it's really him making a lot of connections with other superheroes in a sense, where he sets it up where he's like, the Doctor is in. And so he gets
right. Like, I'm back.
So he gets.
It's not going to be weird if I'm in an event.
Yeah. Or
like normal when I'm in an event and I should be dead or something.
Maybe other heroes show up in my book. I don't know. So Spider-Man shows up for a moment. Luke Cage is here. Black Cat.
Yes, they have a history.
Doom. We address Doom and his treatment of Clea.
Great.
Like, he's like, hey, don't do that again.
She doesn't need him.
It is a nice moment though, like the way MacKay writes it. Doom refers to him as an old friend, and Strange is like, are we?
We're not old friends. He's like, no, come on. Remember Triumph of Torment?
Yeah. Daredevil's in this, and I was like, is that what Daredevil's up to right now?
Not even a little bit.
Who knows what's going on?
Does he have a beard?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, then yes.
And he's fighting a garbage man.
I'm sure it's a reference to an upcoming no way. Yeah.
But we set it up that the Strange is reestablishing his relationships, just letting people know, like, I'm back, I'm alive, I'm here to help you with magic. Clea is sticking around. The two of them are going to be together.
Is she going to keep the old costume? Like, is she going to keep the Doctor Strange costume?
No, she's wearing her Clea outfit, which it looks great.
I mean, yeah, but doesn't that feel like a demotion?
No, because she's the Warlord of Manhattan.
What?
She's the Warlord of Manhattan.
Okay, what does that mean?
So post Strange leaving, the barriers broke down. There was an event, or not a comic book event. a thing that happened in the book.
Yes.
In which warlords from other dimensions came to Earth as like for refuge, and some of them are still here.
Yeah.
But she took up the mantle of the Warlord of Manhattan.
Okay.
So when she goes places, she's like, I'm the Warlord of Manhattan.
Mm.
That's what I'm to be referred to as. And
All
so
right.
she kicks ass and takes names as that.
Yeah.
She's also the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, but she's here, so she goes by Warlord of Manhattan.
Okay.
So
seems kind of like an aggressive title, but all right.
That's who she is. What are you gonna do? Tell her she can't be that? That's
she
her.
kicked my ass.
She will kick your ass. But we get a little more of the exploration of the Clea and like Steven relationship. We saw a little bit of that when he came back as the Ferryman, his take on what they should do, her take on what they should do. She's quick to action, she's quick to anger. She grew up in the Dark Dimension. It's a different lifestyle, it's a different way of thinking.
True.
Strange is tempered, and he's like, we need to preserve life, we need to be careful with what we do, and we need to like knock on doors. And she's like, we kick them in.
Okay.
Or blow up the whole house they're attached to.
No.
Either or.
Okay.
But sometimes she's right and sometimes he's right. That's the point.
That's true. Okay.
Fair enough. It's not always one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one and sometimes it's the other.
Right.
So they find out that there's a series of refugees that are going to be moved. They're from one dimension. They're going to move to this other warlord's dimension that's on Earth right now. But it's not going to be a good scene for them. Like he's not a nice guy. And so, Strange is like, we should do something about that. They go forth. She has her take on it. He has his take on it. They essentially grab a whole bunch of them who are on their way to their location and they send them to the Sanctum Sanctorum because there's nowhere else for them to go.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, fine, I'll take them. And like,
I'll be the Men in Black headquarters.
Yeah. Has Bats take care of them.
Okay.
Because like, where's Wong? Well, we find out in a backup where Wong is.
Oh, okay.
So they realize there's many more refugees. They have to cross the dimensional portal that sends them to that location on Earth. And that is really an act of war.
Yeah.
Right? So Clea's like, yeah, we're not just going there to be like, hey, would you mind if we took these guys? She's like, no, you just banged the drum, basically.
Yes.
So now we have to deal with it. And he's like, no.
Right.
So, she gets right up in, I think it's Agamemnon.
Okay.
I don't want to say Agamemnon. So
right.
No, it is Agamemnon. Okay, cool. Who was involved with the Doctor Strange, like the Clea Strange plot story.
Yeah.
That he was not a nice guy about it, but there was nothing Clea could do about it, honestly. There's a lot of posturing going on, but Steven's basically like, okay, so Clea's the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, and I'm the Sorcerer Supreme of this dimension, and you're the Sorcerer Supreme of your dimension, but like, what chance do you really think you have against two of us?
Right.
So he lets the refugees go, except for one of them who he kills on the spot in front of them. He's like, there. Don't you forget it.
Okay.
Strange is like, that is uncool. And we will have words later. And Clea's like ready to rip him down. And he's like, we have to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're not done. We are not done. Okay. I will be back and I will kick your ass. It's going to happen. They have it out when they get home. They have a little bit of a lover's quarrel over that one. Steve is like, okay, well, like, all right, I'm not good at this. She is really upset. I didn't say any of the right things. All right. But duty calls. SheHulk gets a hold of him.
Okay.
And she's like, I got something going on here. You need to help me with this. So he doesn't follow up.
Okay.
Because he can't. Because he's like, I have to do this. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. Here are all the reasons we didn't work before coming to light.
Oh, great.
But then we see back in Agamemnon's world that like he's like, all right, the Strange is like that's not over. We're definitely gonna do something there. And then he explodes.
Okay.
And I'm like,
so Clea like set a spell on him or something.
Who knows? We get the backup. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get the backup. We see that Wand has decided that he's gonna give the Stranges space to like get to know one another. Like again, like he's like, I get it. I'm a third wheel right now. I should be on my way. And I'm like, I mean, it feels like you just wanted to make him have his own adventures, and that's fine too. Like Wong's allowed to go on his own adventures, but no
one's gonna buy a Wong book.
No, but like, I get you wanting to have him out of the house so he could go do this backup. Fine, whatever.
Okay.
But Bats is still there, and it's not like Bats is just a dog. Like Bats is completely cogent and is able to have full conversation.
Yeah.
So he's doing your job, Wong. While you're running around as an agent of Wand. So he has that's what Wong's doing. He's off with Pandora Peters, and they're the only two members of Wand, and
But I'm sure they'll enlist a few other people.
and which
I'll bet Nika Minru and other forgotten Brother Voodoo, perhaps.
No, that's way too. That's way too.
That's too mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. You need to. What the heck's his name? I don't want to get it wrong. The freaky Dr. Z. I was like, what was it? What was his thing? What was his? It's freaky.
Okay.
He joins Wand at the end of this.
What about Mad Jim Jaspers?
That's not the point, because what they find out is they see Agamon headless.
Right.
I was like, well, he exploded.
He exploded, but
fine. The artist
didn't get that memo.
Had a different idea.
Mm-hmm.
So here is
your theory.
My 2 complaints.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I should say the backup is written by Jed McKay with art by Andy McDonald.
Good stuff. Looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. The main Strange book, I don't love the art, but that is a completely subjective opinion. Like, I'm not the biggest Pascal Ferry fan. I'm not the biggest Matt Hollingsworth on Pascal Ferry's art for coloring.
Yes.
But that's completely subjective.
Yes.
It doesn't float my boat, guys. I'm sorry. There's some stuff in here that I'm like, ooh, that's really good. And then there's some stuff in there that I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Fine. At least we got a Doctor Strange book, I guess. So that's like gripe 1. Not really a gripe, because it's totally my opinion. Gripe 2. Didn't we just do a big murder mystery around someone dying and who was the killer?
Right, but like that was the main character. This is somebody we don't really care about. So it's way more compelling.
But guess who the suspects are?
The Stranges.
Right.
Yeah.
It probably won't be them.
Or it will be.
But like I was very much like, but we just did that. You just did that.
Yeah. But I need to get at least 6 issues out of this book.
You could do anything and do that. Like that was my only complaint, was I felt like we just
look at the sales numbers.
The entire like crux of your killing Doctor Strange was a murder mystery, and then it was trying to figure out how to bring him back. It was all about that murder, right? And now let's just jump into a different murder.
Yeah. If we had done, no, you don't understand. You gotta look at the sales numbers. First issue is artificially inflated. Second issue drops by 50%. Then the third issue's got to go back up. So the third issue has to have a big twist.
Well,
and how am I going to get a big twist if I don't do some kind of mystery?
Maybe
if it's a mystery, it's a built-in rising moment.
And I get you have to. There has to be an element of business to these books, and I completely understand that. But sometimes I just want a story.
Yeah, I am with you.
So yeah, that was my only gripe. Otherwise, I liked a lot of the quiet moments. I liked the tension between Clea and Steven. I thought that was well done. I liked him reconnecting with characters that he's worked with. Yeah, with the Marvel Universe, with people he's worked with before, in a way that was like a one page, couple panels. Like that's it. Just like, hey, like little mini adventures. Or I'm like, some of those I would have actually liked to have seen. Yeah, fine, whatever. Maybe I will if this continues going.
Maybe.
So that's why I said, like, yeah, I enjoyed this, and I will absolutely keep reading it. I just kind of wish the big cliffhanger of this issue wasn't the same cliffhanger
of the last
that we were introduced to when he first started writing.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me ask you this, because they introduced an idea early on when they killed off Doctor Strange. Yes. Like, what if we brought back the older Doctor Strange, the blue cape and everything? What if it was young Doctor Strange, doesn't know the Marvel Universe, and he's, new?
Mm-hmm.
If you had the option of going with one or the other, where it's like, we brought him back, he's back, moving on, let's just give it another fresh start. Or, no, Doctor Strange dies, and it's going to be a closed loop where one day the young Doctor Strange that we brought back from the past, who has the blue cape, will become the old Doctor Strange who died. But we're going to do Doctor Strange #1, and it stars the young Doctor Strange, who is now on an alternate timeline path with the blue cape. Which one would you rather see?
Oh, that's such a cheap way to do like an ultimate universe. Like a not ultimate universe, like something like that, where it's like he could do anything.
Yeah,
it could be all new and all different.
Exactly.
I think I'd run the blue cape.
Yeah, I had a feeling because
that's like exciting.
It's such a neat, exciting idea.
I think folks struggle with writing magic sometimes, and I think they struggle with trying to make it make sense or to make it matter. And I think a lot of the stories, a lot of the good, not that there are no good stories left, but I think a lot of the ones that people turn to are ones from the past, and it would just be an opportunity to have a lot of firsts again.
Yes.
It would be that Doctor Strange running into a bunch of his classic villains, maybe.
Yeah, Nightmare and, Dormammu.
Yeah, and Doom.
Yes.
You know,
A Doom who's very familiar and very ready for Doctor Strange, but a young, inexperienced Doctor Strange dealing with Doom.
yeah, that's very interesting.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
And again, I enjoyed the book, and
Okay.
I'm definitely going to keep picking it up. But those are my complaints.
Right. Fair enough. Vincent Brown already said his thing. Ferret Kosenik or
Fareed?
Farit Kokosenik says, hey guys, thanks for all the fun and thoughtful content you guys have provided for so many years. I wanted to ask what comics both you recommend for someone that has never picked up a comic before. That's tough, man. Like, you know, every comic is somebody's first. I think that if I were to like recommend a comic for somebody who's never read them, I'd have to know like what their interests are. I'd go like, what are your favorite movies? Like, what are your favorite movies of all time? And then go in a similar wheelhouse. You know, if they were a big fan of Alien, I'd go look for books that are atmospheric and noir and dark and, you know, heavy on the art, and, you know, light on the dialogue, you know, science fiction bent, while also being accessible, you know, so not impenetrable, you know. I'm thinking like maybe like Jeff Lemire Sentient or something.
I would pick something short, too.
Yes, short.
Especially if they're not used to the comic book format.
Yes.
Because something like reading a comic book for us, who read them all the time, it's not like you're like, who cares? Like, you know it, you know exactly how to do it. Folks struggle with it. They struggle with how to follow the panels. They struggle with where to start reading word balloons, even if it seems really obvious to us. So pick something short that's pretty clear.
Yes.
But definitely I would. It's all about what they prefer, what they're looking for, because there's a lot of, you know, slice of life comics you could lean on, especially if someone likes manga,
right?
Maybe more and likes
Stranger Than Paradise would be a great option.
Sure,
you know? But again, that's like a first. You know, that's like an idea if we heard that as a recommendation.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really about what they like and what they find interesting in that similar wheelhouse, like movies and stuff.
Yeah, if they like sci-fi and Game of Thrones, stuff like that, I'd be like, Saga,
absolutely.
100%. Like, you're ready for that.
Right? Yeah.
Those are really compelling characters, though. And the sci-fi in that isn't so put off.
No,
like, it's not so off-putting.
Yes,
that's the word I want.
Yeah, it's not hard to get into because it's also new. You're learning about it for the first time.
Yep.
Just as like everybody else.
Yeah, there's no history there. Sometimes independent comics are really good for that. Sometimes original graphic novels are really good for that too, because it makes the person feel like they're not lost.
Yes.
Because everything you need is in that book.
Yeah, that's true. Death Insanity with a very generous super chat. So thank you very much, Death Insanity,
thank
for
you.
that. I can't watch this live, so you're not even here, but we do appreciate your support.
No, we do.
We know that you're going to be there. Like so thanks for catching us on the rewatch. But I'm going to ask a question now. What do you think so far about Amazing Spider-Man story? If you're not reading it, I completely understand, but it seems that Zeb has finally found a way to destroy the relationship permanently by time dilation. Yeah, I don't read that series anymore. I dropped it at least 2 issues ago. I have unfortunately not been immune to knowing about what's going on, but I would never give the series any money. So, you know, I can't speak to it in terms of like what I've read.
Right.
And I wouldn't read it for free because it'd be inappropriate. But I will say that the book, you know, the idea of what I've heard happened is exactly what I guessed would happen when the concept was introduced. You know, our theories notwithstanding, you know, we're like, oh, one's a theory, one's a clone. Blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
That's fun and speculative, but like at the end of the day, you know, when Mary Jane says to Black Cat, like, yeah, 6 months, I'm like, oh, okay, like we know what's gonna happen. And as I understand it, like, yeah, it's time to Mary Jane's gonna be stuck with this Paul guy in another dimension for like, you know, a couple of years, and you know, they will have fallen in love and had children and stuff like that in this alternate timeline or in this alternate future where, you know, and it will have been Mary Jane's decision, and Mary Jane will have, you know, sent Peter away from that timeline. Didn't
they do something like that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, they did it in a lot of things. They did it in a lot of unoriginal places, and this is one of them. So you know, I don't find it engaging or interesting. It turns out, what did Peter Parker do? Like, nothing. Like, he didn't do anything. It was Mary Jane who did it. Just like in One More Day. Just like in any book where we want to get rid of Mary Jane. Zeb can't pick, you know, he named the daughter in one book and then forgot the name of the daughter and gave her a different name in another book. So, you know, like, that's how much they care about this.
That's also an editorial issue.
Right. Well, it's like Zeb created them. He should care what they're called. but the editor should also be paying attention,
Uh-huh.
and they're not. So, that should tell you everything you need to know. But it doesn't matter what I think because it's the number one selling book at Marvel right now. So, we're in the minority, people who don't like this book. And, assuming that everyone hates a thing that you don't like is dangerous because you're probably in the minority.
I guess so.
Most people are reading this book and then just going like, cool, and then like not talking about it anywhere. But yeah, it's not a kind of thing I'd find interesting. But yes, I do think that they've, but they don't need to. No, the thing about time travel and time dilation is that nothing's permanent. Somebody goes back in time and switches them or grabs her or whatever. Then it's more tragic. Oh, the family I lost. If they do it, which they won't.
Mm-hmm.
But feels mean spirited to me. Thorn Identity.
That is very much the yuck your yum.
Yeah. Thorn Identity flipping to audio only, but still here. Well, thanks for being here, man. Wish you guys did every couple of days. I agree. It's a perfect mood elevator to see smart fans fanning smartly. Love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thorn Identity. We appreciate it, man.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. What was it? We tried this idea with like clips where I like took segments from the last episode.
I remember that.
Yeah. We're never doing that again. Tanked hard. Ooh. It tanked worse than a Star Wars episode of Back Issues. MNM says, I'm not a big fan of Wong being a super secret magical agent or whatever, but I guess they need to make him a separate superhero for synergy's sake. Yeah, Wong is one of the most important characters in the MCU now. So better give him something, maybe a backup in Doctor Strange.
I think they just didn't know what to do with him, and
it's fair.
Which is funny because Wong has been a huge part of Doctor Strange's life and history. Maybe not always the most like empowered character.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to give him some agency. So I guess they wanted to go for this and give this a shot.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We will.
I think with Bats being there, like Bats is never going away, not like Zelma did. Zelma, they're like, get out.
Go
of
away.
This book. You
until
are done.
Whoever created her returns. You will never see Zelma again.
That's Jason Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's
I'd be
that.
okay with that.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, I feel you. I get that.
Mm-hmm. And Grim Robin says, first time super chatting. Welcome, Grim Robin.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you. I'm still fairly new to comics, but your show has introduced me to some amazing stories, and one of my favorites was JL in the Sixth Dimension. Hey, nice. That was a fun story. That was a really cool Scott Snyder book, and really, really fun. Rafael Martinez says, Sal, I feel your pain at WonderCon this weekend. I went to find some trades, but no one was selling trades, only singles. Boo!
Ooh.
What the hell? What's with these people? Come on.
That's not good.
Yeah, Girkbeck did you see Guardians of the Galaxy animated? It's so bad they made Thanos with a Carnage symbiote boring. I like the idea of Darkseid working with heroes in Deceased. I think I may have seen, if it looked like Avengers, that awful Avengers cartoon, then yes, I've seen it. But only through reputation and through like one or two like clips I've seen. Now I don't watch those shows. But yeah, Deceased is a great book, so keep reading it. And Sean D, howdy, appreciate you guys. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for being here. Noober reviews, you read Milestone 30, and if so, what'd you think? No, but I need to. So thank you for reminding me. We also read Batman One Bad Day, Rachel Ghul, #1 from Tom Taylor and Ivan Rice. Another one. I picked this one up. I was like, well, I said I would grab all these. I'm doing it. Here we go. I was very excited about Ivan Rice drawing more Batman, and of course Tom Taylor doing it. It was like, hey, Tom Taylor doing a Batman book. That's kind of cool. But we read it, and so what'd you think?
This was my favorite one.
That's fair.
Up until the end.
Yeah.
Some of the end was not the very end, but there was like a couple of moments I was like, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah.
I think it was the Damian stuff.
Yeah, I mean Damian, Taylor's got his own opinions about Damian, and but like Damian made sense to put in this. So
no, that was my epic struggle there. I was like, Damian makes the most sense to put in this, but I was like, I feel like you're not the one to take up the mantle.
Well, but he will be, because he's the biological son, and adoption's bullshit.
Oh, right. Sorry, everyone who's adopted.
Yep.
Comic book writers say.
Comic book writers who introduce biological children when adoption is the biggest theme of that character when it comes to children.
That's sucks. Anyway, that's not where we're going with this, because otherwise
No.
I thought this was great.
Yeah.
I thought this was really, really well written.
Yes.
I really got a feeling for Raish in this.
Mhm.
The reason I thought it was so well written was because there were definitely moments in this where I was like, I totally agree with Ra's al Ghul.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Yes. You're just like, and I always hope for the best when it comes to heroes who are fighting against that kind of idea. Like there's a moment where, Raish is like, here's the problem with everything, and here's my solution for that. Come up, give me a better. He doesn't say give me a better one, but like you're kind of basically like, well, Batman,
He met you halfway.
what's the better answer?
Yeah.
What's the solution? And he's just like, I'm taking you in. And it's always frustrating to see a superhero do that, because like it usually pulls the rug out from the idea of a superhero and being like, oh, you're just some lunatic in a silly costume. You don't care about the greater good. You don't care about making things better. You just care about like getting attention and
No, he cares about his creed.
and
He's like,
and your creed, which
but
is which is what, like the promise of a child.
mm-hmm.
That's not modern thinking. That's not mature. But in any case, we see that dealt with, and it's phenomenal. Like, it's just the way in which we see that. It's unfortunate because I want my heroes to be better. I want Batman to be cleverer than just being like, no.
Yeah, I also like to think of this is, this is not necessarily in continuity.
It can or can't be. It doesn't matter. But
because he mentions his friends, and I was like, oh, I don't know if he's talking about the Bat Family. Like,
I think he's talking about Superman.
I think he is too. And I was like, this could be a world where the Bat Family doesn't exist.
That's true
as well. So like, I had all sorts of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it is in continuity.
Oh,
but
really?
yeah. Because it can be.
Yeah, it can be.
At first I thought it wasn't, but then I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it sympathizes Ra's al Ghul in a way that some fiction has tried to in the past, but has, I think, fallen flat.
Sure.
In this case, I think it's very successful. Obviously, if you're gonna do that, throw in a puppy, because that's usually a way to people's hearts.
That literally got me.
That
got me hard. I was like, I am out in public reading this. Pulled it together.
Yep. And of course, like, it also portrays the whole like one bad day. Like, there's no one bad day, unless you're talking about like it works thematically, but also like Raish goes through a lot of like bad days.
No. I think the one bad day was the first bad day, and he has it every time he's reborn.
Exactly.
So it's always one bad day.
Yes, for Raish.
For Raish
and Batman.
Yes, but it was also just this one didn't stick to the theme in like the most obvious way.
No.
It was more of a metaphorical theme.
It's true. But we see basically like Raish kind of like his purpose and his mission crystallized and more sympathetic, and we see Batman's response to that, which is fantastic. We see it is about Raish, so like it's only going to be Batman and Damian, which I appreciate, at least like keeping it kind of like trim.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I really struggle with that, because I was like, parts of it I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But we see like a confrontation with Batman and Ra's al Ghul. We see the realization of Raish's dreams. We see Batman, triumphant. It's got a lot going for it. It's actually I think it's a very successful one shot. It's a very successful Batman story.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal Ra's al Ghul adventure.
Yeah.
Everything works. Which is what you want from a Tom Taylor book at this point. What you hope for. And but the winner, like the hero of this book, the shining best part is Ivan Rice.
Oh yeah, except for the lion faces. But other than that, that one.
Yeah, whatever.
It was fine. Everything like in this book is beautiful, and I was like, please do more.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's my note.
Who colors this?
Somebody. It is Brad Anderson.
Oh, well, there you go. One of the best colors
Danny Miki did the inks.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's
so it's the best. Really, everyone's doing their best work.
Really, really great looking art.
Yeah.
No, I like this. The moment I started sympathizing with Raish, I was like, this is a great book.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I should not.
I shouldn't.
You're the villain,
works.
But like,
yeah,
that to me is, listen, hacky writing can also make you do that, but good writing can make you go back and forth, because you're like, I know what you're doing is wrong, but also what you're doing is the best option. What the heck is happening?
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved going on this adventure, this thought exercise. I really appreciated, though, that like obviously I think the other reason they want to put Damien here is there's like one specific visual. I think they were like, it was like in someone's head.
Yeah.
Like it might have been in Taylor's head as he was writing this. He was like, it has to be Damien. Obviously, Damien also has the connection.
Yeah.
But it's him putting that cowl on.
Yes.
Like it's a little boy wearing the cowl,
yes.
crying.
Absolutely.
I'm like, that was something I'm sure he saw in his head.
There are a couple of moments where Batman and Ra's fight via swords, and they're a couple of them are recreations of the Neil Adams Ra's al Ghul confrontation, which I thought was fun. Big difference though is that Batman either doesn't grow hair on his chest or he waxes. Outrageous. Batman needs a big hairy chest like Neil Adams used to draw.
Maybe he does.
He does.
Or maybe he's just been so like injured in that area that there's
no
more follicles.
Yeah, it doesn't grow back. But phenomenal book. Pick it up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, if you've been turned off by One Bad Day, or maybe you picked up some ones that you didn't like so much, you're probably you're gonna like this one. This one you should definitely grab.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah,
just works on every level.
Yep,
way to go.
Yep, it's so good. I do wonder though if Batman was like disappointed by Damien or not at the end of this, because I thought that was interesting because he stayed, and I'm like,
no,
Batman would be like, you shouldn't have stayed.
Nah,
you should have been back. I gave you the mantle.
Right.
You should have been back in Gotham.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's taking care of Gotham right now?
Yeah, but I don't need a little Batman.
Like, I called Dick.
Yeah, exactly. Dick Grayson took care of it. That'd be fine. We don't even find out. It's great.
We don't.
But yeah, that's fair. That's a fair observation to make.
But yeah, there's just so many stunning images in this book. I feel like Rice really was just going for it. He's like, all right, here we go. I'm doing Batman. Let's do this.
And I don't think I've ever seen Brad Anderson on coloring for Ivan Rice. So I'm like I was like, oh, this is great.
It just looks good. All of the cloth and fabric is like moving in ways which I know are not quite realistic, but I don't care. It feels
doesn't matter. That's what comics are. It shouldn't matter. Yeah.
It felt very cinematic, this book.
Yep.
Tally's in it for like a hot second. She's
great.
She does what she needs to do.
Yep, that's right.
But yeah, just a good, well put together story that, I mean, for the amount of page real estate, they did a lot.
Yes.
So
you're right, good at that. But
well, I mean, like even the story.
Yeah.
Initially, I was like, "Are we doing Conan?"
I didn't even know where to think it was going. I was just like, "Oh, okay."
Book it was here, and I was like, "Are we doing Conan?" And then book was like,
"No,
excuse me, no, we are not doing Conan."
No, we're not doing Conan.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. I'll just be quiet now and enjoy the book.
But check it out and enjoy the book.
Do.
One Bad Day, Ra's al Ghul.
Spectacular. Probably my favorite read of the week, honestly.
Easily,
I mean, as much as I've been loving Sins of Sinister, and that was a great issue.
Yeah,
this Ra's al Ghul book, I was like, okay,
yep,
you're gonna come out of the gate like that?
Yeah,
good thing you weren't the first one,
right? Oh my god. Well, although I feel like that was a very successful one as well. Our Serial says, what are your thoughts on the newest Deceased series? I personally loving it. Can't wait to see how it all ends. I didn't get a chance to read the newest one, but I've been loving every issue since then. So yeah, I'm down. I hope it wraps up soon. Raj Patel, I loved the Raish one shot, and I ended up buying a page from this wonderful book. The page where Raish is comforting his wolf.
Oh my god, you
Rice
got that
is just
page?
Fantastic, and I love how Damien was written. That's incredible, man.
Oh,
congratulations,
dude! I'm 100% jealous.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's the page I would have wanted.
Yeah,
the one that made me cry.
I mean, I would take any page in this book. There's so many pages of this book that are just like enchanting, and yeah, it's great. That's great, man. Congratulations on that.
Oh,
it's dope.
Yeah, take care of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
I mean,
I don't need to tell you.
No. Langley M. Neely, how'd you rate the One Bad Day initiative? I'd say it's about 7 out of 10. I mean, like, do more. There's a great idea. I don't know.
Upcoming breakdown from ComicPop.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's great. I mean, like, it's what I've been pissing and moaning about for years. I'm like, make more self-contained, prestige-bound, one-shot, done-in-one Batman stories to get people to read the damn series, to get people back into comic books. Mm-hmm. These should have been on shelves at bookstores and like, convenience stores and stuff. But like,
I wonder if they're gonna put out
like a trade, a hardcover,
an omnibus,
probably. Yeah, but
because it's gonna be thick.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's phenomenal. I think it's a success. I think it should be a success if it wasn't already. I think
some of them have been more successful for me.
Yes,
but I do enjoy that there's a lot of different styles of storytelling in each of them. It's not all exactly the same, so it has the ability to appeal to a larger audience.
Agreed. That's what it's supposed to do.
Well, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I like the storytelling in this, but maybe I didn't like the storytelling in. I'm trying to think of one I didn't like so much.
Riddler.
I wasn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I loved it. So
I know.
But I hated what was it? Penguin.
Yeah, I don't even...
No, Penguin was fine. I liked Penguin well enough. Two-Face, I wasn't a fan of.
I can't remember if I read that.
Clayface was good.
That was good.
Mr. Freeze was good.
It was good. This was better.
Yeah. Nuber reviews. Ivan Rice knows how to draw Raish, but his Batman skull. I don't know what that means.
I'm dead.
I hope it means that you're dead and that it was amazing, because his Batman is phenomenal. I completely agree with you, if you feel that way. Dante Cook, Sal, do you think the sales from One Bad Day run will help create an official Elseworlds-like run in DC? No. But only because I don't hear any rumblings about it, and I don't think anybody's like suggesting it.
I wonder if once the DC movies start up and they start trying to make that Elseworlds thing work, if they won't try to run with that in comics.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the correlation between One Bad Day and Elseworlds, but I do want Elseworlds to return.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying in a way to bring it back.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope when people start seeing it again, they'll start using it again. But I don't expect them to make that good a decision. Jackson Boyd, the Raish issue is amazing, and so is Tom King's Riddler. I've been reading lots of King's books, but now I'm getting into indie comics, usually a capes and tights kind of guy. Any indie book suggestions, Tiffany?
Okay, so the problem is you're coming from capes and tights, but maybe you're looking for something a little bit different. I'm going to make a lot more horror suggestions than anything else. But if you're coming from capes and tights, then you're probably pretty familiar with Dan Mora. And as we said earlier, you can grab Once and Future, because you're going to get the Dan Mora art, so you're going to get that feeling of that action that you get from your capes and tights, even though it has nothing to do with capes and tights. There will be a big bad in that. There will be a kick-ass grandma in that. Yeah. I know that sounds like a weird thing, but trust me, you're probably going to love it. It does have to do with Arthurian legend. You don't have to know anything about it to get into it. Kieran Gillen will hold your hand and take you through it, and Dan Mora is absolutely killing it in that book. It's also all done. So you know that if you want to pick up the trades, you can grab whatever you want from that and be done with it. It's not a huge buy-in, and you don't have to worry about it an ongoing.
It's true.
From that. I mean, obviously, if you want capes and tights, you could obviously pick up Invincible. As well, you know, that's
people like Radiant Black. That's another one. But Invincible's a good one to jump into.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking in terms of that, just to get you, that connection as well. I love Something Is Killing Children. That's great. I'm currently reading The Harrower. I did forget to pick up issue 2 though. That's totally my fault on that one. You could also check out Saga, of course. But that is definitely not your capes and tights.
Nope.
It is sci-fi. It is rated M for mature. Trust me, there is a lot of nudity in that book, but not drawn in like a cheesecakey way.
No.
It is a little more realistic there.
Yep.
It's dealing with a lot of different issues. So I don't know if that's really what you're looking to get out of your comics right now, but if it is, I highly recommend that book. It is easily one of the most gut-wrenching series you're ever going to get your hands on. There's so many. I'm trying to think of some other, like, I always struggle when I'm like,
I know when you're put on the spot.
Yeah, I'm like, all of them?
Yeah.
Just try any of them. Yeah, really what you need to do is figure out what do you want from an independent book, because an independent book can give you almost anything.
That's true.
Independent books can be funny. They can have horror. They can have action. They can have adventure. They can be sad.
Yeah, scroll through the last couple of episodes of the show. You'll see.
Yeah. They Only Find Us.
We only find them when they're dead.
Is fun if you like Al Ewing. I think he was writing that.
Yep.
And The Nice House on the Lake.
That's from DC, but it's still independent.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some recommendations for comics that are coming out this week that we think that you should check out. For me, Daredevil #9 is coming out. Chip Zdarsky, Manuel Garcia, maybe, I don't know. I'm just gonna say the writer. All apologies to the artists. I'll just mention the book, because this website we use is.
It says right here, Garcia.
Okay, but check out Daredevil #9. Dark Knights of Steel #10. I've dropped this book completely. I'll read it when it's done. It looks like there's only 3 more issues left to go, one of which is #10 that comes out tomorrow. So check out Dark Knights of Steel #10. Gotham City Year 1 #6. This Tom King, Phil Hester, I only mentioned it because I know that's the team that's working on it. Nothing better. You should be reading the series. It's ending. So when you get #6, go back and pick up numbers 1 through 5. They should all be at your comic book store. It's a phenomenal series. It's unbelievable. Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1 comes out. We had Dennis Culver on the show to talk about it a little bit. You should definitely check out that episode, but also read the book. And if you like it, know that, like Green Arrow as well, it's all going to be 6 issues. It's only been greenlit for 6 issues. So if you would like more, if you love Green Arrow, or if you love Unstoppable Doom Patrol, and you want the whole series, and you want it to keep going, what I would recommend you do is contact your local comic book store and say, I want to pre-order all 6 issues. Because A, not a big commitment. B, you know it's going to be done in 6. C, you don't know if it's going to save the series and keep it going, but you can contribute to it getting more series if enough of you do it. And if it isn't, at least you're getting a complete run.
Yeah, that's true.
So tell them, hey, listen, I love Green Arrow. Give me, pre-order me issues 1 through 6. Hey, I love Doom Patrol. Pre-order me issues 1 through 6. It'll help.
Yeah.
That's the only way
it
will help.
Absolutely.
Unless you pre-order the trade paperback, in which case that might help. But even then, not really. Yeah.
Awesome.
What do you recommend?
My turn. Really quickly, I also want to mention, just because we had the creator on the show as well for another independent book, you could check out White Savior.
Yes.
Which has like a kind of comedic
that's a very fun, ridiculous kind of series that you should definitely check out if you like that kind of thing.
Often what you might want to do is, if you're getting into indie, is you can also follow some of your favorite superhero capes and tights writers to see what they're doing.
That's very true.
If you're a big Scott Snyder fan, obviously he has an entire suite of books you could check out.
Clear just launched, you'd enjoy that.
But also, I mean, Witches. I always want to give a shout out to Witches because I love that book.
Yep.
So much.
Barnstormers.
Yeah. But also I wanted to, if you want to cry, just buy I Kill Giants.
Yes. Or anything by Brian K. Vaughan.
Sure. Yeah. No. It's true, because there's also Paper Girls. You might like Paper Girls.
That's right.
All right. What is coming out this week that I am going to be grabbing? I didn't look at this at all.
Maybe Deadpool, but probably not.
I kind of fell off that book. I think I'm done with that. Strange Academy Finals #5 is coming out. I think I actually have to go back and catch up on that, so I probably will do that. Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain #2 is coming out if you're looking for some X books, as well as Sabretooth and the Exiles, which is a book I'm not reading, but I still like to mention it for those of you who are, reading all of the X titles or just really into Sabretooth. There are people who love it, and that is awesome. It's just something I didn't really connect with, honestly. What is Clobbering Time?
Clobbering Time #1. I don't know.
I love the name of it. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't know why I opened these as though that was going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. The Unforgiven line. I'm definitely going to be picking that up. Remember, there's Spider-Man Unforgiven. I want to say last month or a few weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
By Tim Seeley. X-Men Unforgiven #1 is coming out. I liked the first one.
Yeah, you did.
But I get why people who love Spider-Man maybe weren't into it. So that's fine. I'm definitely going to grab this X book to see where this overall connected story. I think it's X-Men, Spider-Man, and Avengers.
I think so.
I could be wrong about the Avengers one. Absolutely. I may not be certain about that. Another indie book that I've been reading, The Approach from Boom. So I'm going to grab #5 of that. See what's going on in that story. I think I didn't read 4.
I think that's right.
There definitely like a period of time where I just was like, oh no.
Oh no, I didn't read anything.
Oh no, I didn't read that. Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes I look for covers.
Yeah. Hey, another independent series you might want to check out, which is because it's kind of fun and people are talking about it, is 8 Billion Genies.
Yeah.
I think it just finished.
Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess there isn't. It's Jeff is coming out.
Yay.
I am going to read It's Jeff. 100%. Jeff the Land Shark. This is going to be a silly one.
Yep. It's written by Kelly Thompson with art by, of course, the
Gurihiru.
The team Gurihiru.
So, like, this is going to be a cute, silly book, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely. Sometimes it's like I want all horror, all scary, all serious, and then like just something light, just tossed in there, just something fun. Yes, it's Jeff. It's happening.
Yeah, that's right.
It's happening for me. So that's what I got.
That's fair. Well, I don't really have a topic, so we're just going to wrap up. Plus, it's been an hour and a half, so why don't we just call it quits? We want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, follow Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop or at youtube.com @ComicPop Plays, and catch us. Watch the most recent episode of All Stars with myself and Josh Williamson. We chatted about upcoming books. We talked about working in the industry. We talked about comic books. It's worth checking out. It's a really fun show, and watching it will allow us to continue doing it. Yeah, there's a book, another one. Oh no, it's okay. So yeah, there was a series, Venom and Lethal Protector. It was another one from David Michelinie. I guess it sold well enough that there's a sequel to Venom Lethal Protector called Venom Lethal Protector 2, which is funny because it should be Venom Lethal Protector 3 because there's already a miniseries called Venom Lethal Protector.
Okay.
Whatever. But Michelinie's back to continue this series and continue his stories of old stories about Venom. That's what that is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's it. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us, guys. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thank you to everybody for watching and for supporting us. If you want more, subscribe and watch more. There's plenty more where that came from here on this channel or on youtube.com/ComicPop, where we just covered a sequel to Shadows of the Empire. I bet you didn't know that existed. And if you did, well, check it out anyway. Maybe you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of
Listen,
fun.
even if you don't care about it, trust me, you want to watch it for the number of times Sal cannot remember the name of a bounty hunter.
Oh my god. It was a very it's a very memorable name. It's very easy to remember. But
what is it?
I don't know.
Really?
Car Yang.
It's Car Yang.
I did edit the episode and took 4 hours, so I heard that name a lot. But yeah, check it out and stay tuned for more. If you want to support us more directly, patreon.com/ComicPop, and we'll see you guys next week with an old episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.
Bye.